The bus was already halfway across the frozen bridge when Micah North jumped into the road and raised both hands. Snow blew like white smoke. The driver hit the horn. People screamed. The tires slid. The bus skidded sideways, inches from Micah's thin coat. He didn't move. "Stop!" Micah shouted. "Don't cross. Not today. Not now." A policeman yelled, "Move off the road." A woman cried, "He's crazy." The bridge shook under the weight. Micah pointed to the ice-choked river below Anchorage and said in a steady voice, "At 7:12, the middle will fall." The driver checked the clock. 7:11. The policeman rushed forward to pull Micah away. Micah's eyes did not blink. He whispered, "God, please." 7:12. A sharp, cracking sound tore the air. The center of the bridge sank like a floor giving way. Steel screamed. 2 lines of cars froze. The bus driver slammed the brakes. The front wheels stopped on the safe side. 1 more meter, and the bus would have tipped into the cold black water. People gasped. Someone dropped to their knees. The policeman stepped back with his mouth open. The bridge crews started shouting into radios. The wind howled. Micah kept his hands up. "This is not the big one," he said softly. "By sunset, the whole city will go dark, unless we solve the message hidden in the ice." Drop a comment of where you're watching from. Tell me your city below, then keep listening. Micah North didn't look like a hero. He wore a blue beanie with a hole in it and boots with duct tape around the toes. He slept most nights in a cardboard nook behind a bakery on 4th Avenue, where the smell of bread kept the cold from feeling so mean. He was an African-American man from Anchorage, Alaska. Folks in the shelters called him Quiet Micah. He was poor, yes, but he was not empty. Every morning at 4 a.m., he prayed. He prayed for people who stepped over him. He prayed for people who didn't see him. He prayed for people with warm houses and people with none. He prayed for the baker who left extra rolls on Fridays. He prayed for the policeman who told him to keep moving, even when his legs were heavy. He prayed for the city lights that made winter less scary. That was Micah's secret: commitment. He didn't miss a morning. Not when it snowed sideways. Not when his stomach growled so hard it felt like a drum. Not when the street was loud and angry. He kept his promise. "Why do you pray like that?" Pastor Lyle Grant once asked him, handing over a cup of hot cocoa at the mission. Micah smiled. "Because God listens when most people don't." Some folks thought Micah was odd. Some thought he was a saint. Most didn't think about him at all. But strange things started happening. One night at the shelter, the heater rattled in a bad way. "Everybody up," Micah said. "We need to open the windows." The staff frowned. It was below freezing. But Micah insisted, so they cracked them. 10 minutes later, the heater coughed smoke and died. The room filled with fumes, but the open windows saved them all from breathing in the poison. Another morning at the corner store, Micah told the owner, MS. Deja Brooks, "Don't plug your phone chargers in the back outlet today." She hesitated, then shrugged and moved them. An hour later, the old outlet sparked and popped. The wall around it turned brown. No fire. No loss. Ms. Deja looked at Micah like she was seeing him for the first time. "Thank you," she whispered. Micah didn't ask for money. He asked people to be kind to each other. "Kindness keeps you warm," he would say. Some coats can't do that. Word got out in little circles. A young reporter named Nia Carter started watching him from across the street. Notebook in pocket, wool hat pulled low. She was also African-American, born in Fairbanks, and she'd moved to Anchorage for stories that mattered. "Micah," she said one afternoon, walking up slow so she wouldn't scare him. "How do you know the things you know?" Micah pointed at the sky. "I pray, and I listen." "To who?" "To God," he said, "and to sidewalks. Sidewalks tell the truth. You can read them if you kneel." Nia smiled, half sure he was teasing. "What are you listening to today?" He squinted across the street at the river, where the ice kept moving even when it looked still. "Tomorrow," he said.
The next day, the bridge fell at 7:12, and everyone had to listen. Low, quiet tension. After the bridge collapsed, the city buzzed like a beehive. Sirens wailed. Helicopters beat the air. The mayor, Quinton Rhodes, arrived with a scarf over his face. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. The policeman from earlier, Officer Tiara Monroe, kept the crowds back. Nia reached Micah first. "You said this wasn't the big one," she said. "What is?" Micah looked at the sun trying to push through the clouds. "At sunset," he said, "the lights will die. All of them. Unless we solve the message." "What message?" Nia asked, pen ready. He held up his small notebook. On the cover he had written with a blunt pencil, "Tomorrow log." "I saw it at 3:58 a.m., he said. "A riddle painted where no one looks long, words on ice, letters in frost. I don't know who wrote it, but it wants to be solved." Officer Tiara walked up, calm but firm. "Sir, we need to ask you a few questions. How did you know the bridge would give out?" "I prayed," Micah said softly. "And God answered." Officer Tiara crossed her arms. She was strict but she was fair. She was also African American, born in Juneau and proud of it. "Prayers don't give times down to the minute," she said. "Did someone tip you?" Micah shook his head. "Ma'am, I don't have a phone." High shock and public proof. While they spoke, a city engineer tested the bridge with a drone. The feed showed ice wedges jamming the pillars and metal joints split like cracked bones. The timestamp in the drone video matched 7:12 to the second. A worker muttered, "How did he?" The mayor glanced over. "Mr. North, if you know something about a threat to the grid, you need to speak now." Micah nodded. "I will. But I also need chalk. And a map of Anchorage." "Chalk?" Officer Tiara blinked. "Yes," Micah said. "It's part of the puzzle." Low setup and clue gathering. They moved to a folding table by an emergency truck. Nia spread a city map. A worker brought a box of chalk, the kind kids use on sidewalks. Micah took a deep breath and closed his eyes. "How do you do this?" Nia asked. "I listen for tomorrow," he said. He drew a circle around 4 points on the map: the Old Ship Creek substation, the Hillview Water Tower, the West Ridge Playground, and the Marston Library roof. "These are high places or power places," he said. Each one had a strange mark yesterday, yellow arrows sprayed on the ground. People thought it was a prank. But it's a code. "A code for what?" the mayor asked. "For the sun," Micah said. "If you stand where the arrow points at the right minute, the sun lines up with letters hidden in the ice or snow. The letters make words. The words make the riddle." "Who put the letters there?" Officer Tiara asked. Micah shook his head. "I don't know. But they want us to be late. They want us to miss the light." High race against time begins. The mayor checked his watch. Sunset is at 4:31 p.m. That gives us hours, not many. "Officer Monroe, take Mr. North to those 4 points. Nia, you can ride along, on record. This is a hoax, I want to know. If it's real, I want to fix it." They moved fast. The city's winter light was thin. The day felt short already. Stop 1. West Ridge Playground, low, character beat. Kids were not there because of the cold, but the swing set creaked in the wind like it remembered laughter. On the basketball court, Micah found a small arrow, faded and yellow, pointing toward the chain-link fence. The time on the arrow read 12:07. Micah looked up at the sun, then at his watch. Not yet. But close. He stood where the arrow pointed. When the sun touches the backboard, the letters will appear. Officer Tiara raised a brow. "Letters don't just appear." "Sometimes they do," Micah said. At 12:07, the sun slid behind thin cloud. Its light bounced off a busted mirror tied to the fence. The beam hit the frosted backboard and lit up 4 lines scratched into the ice. Nia snapped photos, breath fogging. The words glowed soft and quick. 4 keys. 3 locks. 2 kinds of light. 1 choice. Then the glow faded as if the backboard had swallowed the secret. Nia said, "For keys?" Micah wrote the line in his notebook. "We have 1 clue. The others will fit together." Stop 2. Marston Library roof, high, a scary twist. The roof was icy and steep. The custodian, Amani Reed, led them up slowly with rope. A yellow arrow by the vent pointed toward the snow-packed edge. Time read 1:19. Micah stood carefully where the arrow aimed. He looked toward the frozen river and waited. The sun flashed off a car window in the distance and struck the drift before his boots. A shadow filled a carved groove in the snow, forming words for a breath-long moment. Count the hums you cannot hear. The wind pushed hard. Nia grabbed the vent to steady herself. Officer Tiara reached to pull Micah back from the edge. What does that even mean? Nia asked. Micah's face tightened. Transformers, he said. Substations. They hum even when we don't hear it. Maybe someone will make them hum wrong. Officer Tiara's radio crackled. A voice said, "We've had 3 small outages near Ship Creek this week, blips. Nothing major." They were tests, Micah said. Stop 3, Hillview Water Tower, low, Community Hope Beat. Local families had painted the tower with bright fish and waves. Micah found another yellow arrow near the ladder. Time read 2:03. At 2:03, the winter sun bent through the handrails and through thin bars of light on the tower's frost, making a simple word. North. Officer Tiara looked at Micah. Like your last name. Micah shook his head. Like direction. Or like the North substation. Or both. Nia wrote fast. 4 keys, 3 locks, 2 kinds of light, 1 choice, she said. Count hums you cannot hear. And North. What is the unsolvable puzzle here? Micah's eyes softened. Tomorrow, he said. Tomorrow is the puzzle. People think tomorrow is far away. But it comes every day, 1 step at a time. If bad people hide a trick in tomorrow, we must step there first. Stop 4, Old Ship Creek Substation, high, danger. Fencing wrapped the place like a cage. Signs said danger, high voltage. The gate was locked. But there, on the sidewalk outside, was the last yellow arrow. Time read 3:11. They waited, breath-making ghost clouds. The sun slid low. It hit a shard of ice on the fence and bounced down, lighting up a patch of dirty snow beside the gate. Letters rose like they were being typed by invisible hands. The lock you fear is not the door you see. Nia held the camera close. 3 locks, she said. We're looking at a fence and a gate, but that line says the Real lock isn't the door we see. Micah's heartbeat thumped in his ears. He turned and looked under the footbridge beside the substation. Ice hung in teeth like rows. The river whispered under it. There, he said softly. The drain tunnel. The what? Officer Tiara asked. The old maintenance tunnel, Micah said, pointing to a steel hatch half buried in snow near the bank. It looks frozen and harmless. That's the lock we fear, because we don't know it's there. Officer Tiara called it in. A city worker pulled up in a truck with bolt cutters and a crowbar. He wiped his brow. You're sure about this? No, Micah said honestly. I'm never sure. I just obey. The worker cut the rusted loop. The hatch creaked open. A cold breath came out like the tunnel side. Low, character reflection before new high. They clicked on headlamps and crawled inside. The tunnel smelled like old pennies in winter. Their lights caught frost writing on the walls, childlike lines, simple and careful, as if someone took time with a dull nail. What do they say? Nia asked, voice small. Micah traced with a gloved finger. Numbers, he said. 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. He read aloud as they moved. 4 keys, water, power, sun, and time. 3 locks, fear, pride, and silence. 2 kinds of light, the light you see and the light you choose. 1 choice, save your neighbor or save yourself. Nia swallowed. Officer Tiara glanced at Micah. Who wrote this? Micah felt the answer inside and didn't like it. Someone who wants us to fail, he said. But someone who knows we don't have to. High, the unsolvable puzzle clicks into place. Farther in, they found a metal box bolted to a support beam. A sticker said main port 7. A padlock hung from it, brand new, unlike everything else. 3 locks, Nia whispered. But we only see 1 padlock. Micah pointed to a thin wire running from the box along the wall and into the dark. Second lock is distance, he said. They hid the trip line where we won't look. And the third? Officer Tiara asked. Micah bowed his head. The third is inside us. If we panic, we lock the wrong door. How do we open the right one? Nia asked. Micah took the chalk from his pocket and drew a small cross on the cold floor. We pray for the right light, he said. Then we listen. They stood in silence. Even the wind was quiet down there. In that hush, Micah heard it, the faintest hum, not in the tunnel but under it like a giant sleeping heart. Count hums you cannot hear, he repeated. 1, 2, 3. The hums rose, steady and slow. Micah's eyes lifted. There are 3 hidden units warming up, he said. Timers set for sunset. Officer Tiara inhaled. If those are rigged, the grid goes dark, Micah said. Unless we break the right lock before the hums reach 10. Nia checked the time. 3:54 p.m. sunset in 37 minutes. How do we pick a lock we can't see? She asked. Micah turned the metal box in his hands. It had a small square panel with grime on it. He wiped it with his sleeve. Under the dirt, 4 tiny dots formed a diamond. 4 keys. He smiled a little. Water. Power. Sunday time, he said. Each dot wants a touch in the right order. How can you know the order? Officer Tiara asked. Micah looked at the frost writing they had passed. Then he looked at the river outside the hatch, at the low winter sun, at the wires like veins. North, he said. We start with north. He pressed the upper dot. A soft click. Water, he said, pressing the left dot. Another click. Sun, he said, pressing the right dot. Click. And time, he said, pressing the bottom dot. Nothing happened. The hums ticked louder. 4, 5. Nia bit her lip. It didn't work. Micah closed his eyes. 2 kinds of light, he whispered. The light you see and the light you choose. What does that mean now? Officer Tiara asked. Micah held the box up to the beam of his headlamp. The panel was dull, until the light hit a hair-thin crack. A slide. He pushed gently. The panel moved aside to reveal a second set of dots. The light you choose, hidden until you shine a lamp on it. Micah's breath fogged. Again, he said, hands steady. North. Water. Sunday time. He pressed the second set in the same order. A tiny green light blinked once. The hums dropped by 1 note like a careful sigh. 7 minutes, Officer Tiara said, checking her watch. 2 more boxes somewhere in this tunnel. The alarm screamed through the tunnel like a metal animal. Red lights flashed. The 3rd box in Micah's hand stayed dead. The hums had stopped when he pulled the cold wire, but the warning kept rising higher and higher, like stairs with no end. From the dark behind them, a can hissed. Fresh black paint slashed the ice wall in one fast line. A shadow moved just outside the ring of their headlamps. Boots scraped. Then a man's voice echoed calm and cold. Too slow, Prophet. Officer Tiara spun her light. The beam caught a hood. A face flickered and slipped away, deeper into the tunnel bend. The hiss of the spray can faded. Nia grabbed Micah's sleeve. Who is that? Micah did not breathe for a second. Then he said one word like it hurt to say it. Silas. Before they could ask more, the tunnel shook. Above them, something heavy clanged and the alarm leaped to a shriek. Out. Officer Tiara shouted. Move. They ran for the hatch, boots slipping on old ice, red lights stuttering on the walls. The alarm chased them like a siren wolf. They burst into the open air. The winter sun was already tilting toward the horizon. The city's breath rose in white towers. Sirens cried in the distance. Radios snapped and hissed. And then Ship Creek spat steam, and a rolling wave of black began to push across the grid, block by block, like night arriving too early. Cliffhanger turn. Build up. The pieces before the break. 10 minutes earlier, before the shadow and the paint, Micah had felt the hums drop when he opened the second box. He had smiled a small tired smile. We're in time, he had said. But the 3rd box had been waiting like a trap. The broken padlock. The dead panel. The fresh paint stink. The message, you're late, Prophet. Now, above ground, the mayor's voice barked through Officer Tiara's radio. We're losing neighborhoods on the east side. Substations are stable, but something is pulling load in waves. Confirm situation at your location. Officer Tiara pressed the mic. We found 3 hidden control boxes in the drain tunnel by Ship Creek. 2 disabled. 3rd is dead, tampered. Unknown suspect on foot in tunnel. We're coming up. Copy, the mayor said. City Hall is on backup. Hospital grid is priority. What do you need? Micah pointed with the chalk-stained glove. 4 teams. 4 high places. We have to finish the riddle at sunset. If the riddle is solved, the wave will stop. Mayor Rhodes hesitated. We can't base city actions on a riddle. Nia leaned to the radio. Sir, he called the bridge at 7:12 to the minute. He called the heater at the shelter. He called the outlet at Ms. Deja's store. If you've got a better plan in the next 30 minutes, we'll follow it. If not, give him the teams. A long beat. Wind tugged at their coats. Then the mayor exhaled. You've got them. They split fast. Team Playground, Ms. Deja Brooks and the bus driver from the bridge, Darius Pike, ran to West Ridge Playground with a city tech and a radio pack. Team Library Roof, custodian Amani Reed stayed there with 2 firemen and a long rope, ready to look for more hidden marks. Team Water Tower, Pastor Lyle Grant and 2 volunteers from the mission climbed the Hillview ladder with headlamps. Team Ship Creek, Officer Tiara Monroe, Nia Carter and Micah North stayed by the drain hatch, ready to chase the shadow or find a backup panel. The winter sun sank lower, weak and pale, but stubborn. Every breath felt like a clock tick. Officer Tiara looked Micah in the eyes. Who is Silas? Micah lowered his head. Silas Pine. He came to the shelter 2 winters ago. African American like us. From Nome. Smart. Quiet. Good with wires. He used to fix little radios for folks. We prayed together for a job. He got a temp spot as a helper for a grid crew last year. But they let him go. They said he was too intense. He took it hard. Nia wrote, then stopped. Do you think he's doing this to hurt people? Micah shook his head slowly. I think he is doing it to be seen. To make the city listen. But pain is a poor teacher when it is the only one. Officer Tiara's radio cracked. Team Playground, we're on site. Chalk arrow marked 1207 already used. No new marks. What now? Micah closed his eyes. Find anything that throws light. Mirrors. Blast. The sun will show you letters when it hits just right. Look for a second panel like a small door. It needs a light to appear. 2 kinds of light. Team Library Roof. We see an old camera mount. There's frost writing near it. Words say, when the drum hits 9, then it fades. What drum? Power drums, Micah said. Load waves. The hums. 9 means the 9th pulse. When the 9th wave hits, the city will sleep. Copy. Team Water Tower, we have north, again. But the letters are clearer. The sun is almost level. We also see a faint circle under the paint, like a button hidden in rust. Micah's eyes opened. Don't press it yet. Wait for the wave. You will feel it in your feet. When it hits 9, press in the order we used. North, water, sun, time, but only when the light from your headlamps makes a second set of dots show up. Copy. Officer Tiara set her jaw. If the 9th pulse is the kill shot, how many have we had? Micah listened to the wind, to the wires above the fence, to the far thin song of the city's bones. I count 6, he said. 7 soon. Nia touched her phone. A new message flashed with no name, North Star at 8:08. Then it vanished. She blinked. Micah, this just popped on my screen and deleted itself. Micah's heartbeat flicked. Silas knows your number? No idea, Nia said. But he knows your last name. North. And 8:08. That's a time. Micah looked at the lowering sun. Night comes earlier than that, he said. 8:08 must be a second plan. A second hurt. A stadium? The North Star Arena? Officer Tiara's eyes narrowed. He wants us to split. He wants fear. Micah nodded. So we choose neighbor over self. The 7th wave rolled through the lines. They felt it in the fence, a tremble like a big animal taking a slow breath. Team Library Roof. We found a panel. Dead at first. But when we shine the headlamp, a second set of dots appears. We're ready to press. Team Water Tower, same here. Team Playground, found a broken mirror and a small metal box buried by the fence. It has the same dots. Kids must have kicked it before. We propped the mirror to shine. Waiting on your call. Micah lifted his chin. We go on the 8th wave. Not before. Not after. The boxes listen for the drum. If we press on 7, they ignore us. If we press on 8, they listen. If we miss 9, will be too late. The 8th wave rose and passed under their boots. It felt like a low bass note even the bones could hear. Now, Micah said. All teams. North, water, sun, time. Click, 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 click. Green light, Team Roof said. Green, Team Water Tower said. Green, Team Playground said. Officer Tiara blew out a breath. We've got this. Micah didn't smile. His eyes were far away. Wait. The 9th wave arrived like a held breath released. For a heartbeat, all 4 of them, Micah, Tiara, Nia, and the city itself, hung in the space between light and dark. The wave passed. Blocks that had gone dim brightened. The rolling black slowed like a tired thing. Hospital beacons steadied. The mayor's voice came through the radio, half shocked, half laughing. Whatever you did, keep doing it. Nia hugged herself. We beat it. Micah shook his head once. We slowed it. As if to agree, a new sound cut the air. Not a hum. A buzz, high and mean. Nia looked up. A quadcopter drone drifted from under the bridge, black as a crow. It carried a small box slung like a belly. The drone paused above the hatch and dropped the box into the drain tunnel. Officer Tiara drew back. Micah. Micah stepped in front of them without thinking. The box hit the tunnel floor, popped open, and spilled glittering shards. Not bombs. Reflectors. Small mirror chips. They fanned out in a circle and flashed as the sun touched them. On the ice wall beyond the hatch, the light formed a fresh sentence, long and sharp. You saved today. You will not save tonight. Nia's phone buzzed again. A second message blinked and erased. 808. Arena, choose. Officer Tiara keyed her radio. All teams, we have a live hostile using drones and reflectors to send messages. Possible target North Star Arena at 8:08 p.m. Mayor, we need eyes and a unit to secure that site. On it, the mayor said. But the arena's backup grid is separate. It won't fall with the city. Micah's voice was quiet. He doesn't want dark there. He wants a crowd. Nia shivered. There's a youth event tonight. A winter skate night. Hundreds of kids. Micah closed his eyes. The prayer came like breathing. God, help them. They huddled by the hatch as crews set cones and tape. The red alarm in the tunnel had faded to a scold. The sunset burned thin and orange. Cold bit harder. Officer Tiara handed Micah hot tea from a truck thermos. He wrapped his hands around it. Thank you. Tell me why you said Silas like it hurt, she said. Micah looked at the ice on the fence. Because we prayed together. Because I know his laugh. Because I told him God heard him when he felt invisible. And now he's speaking in letters the whole city can see. He thinks that is the only way left. You didn't make this happen, Nia said, soft. Micah nodded but did not agree. Her phone buzzed again. This time the message did not erase. A simple map pin. City Hall, basement access, 5:20. Another taunt. Officer Tiara checked the time. 5 minutes. Nia frowned. He wants us to come. Micah took a breath and let the tea warm his fingers. Then we go. We take eyes. We take truth. We do not take fear. Officer Tiara radioed for backup and a plane unit. We go careful, she said. We go smart. And we go kind, Micah said. Hi, the face in the basement. They reached City Hall's side door at 5:19. The building stood on backup power, humming like a quiet fridge. A security guard named Kian Wade nodded them in. Basement access is clear. They took the steps down. The air smelled like dust and old paper. A light flickered. Their footsteps echoed. At the bottom, a hallway led to storage rooms and a locked maintenance cage. A tiny camera sat on a box. Its red light blinked. Nia lifted her hand. Silas. The camera clicked. Then a phone on the floor lit up with a video feed. A man's face filled the screen. African American. Early 30s. Sharp cheekbones. Eyes too tired for his age. A hoodie shadowed his hairline. He did not smile. Hello, Micah, Silas Pine said. Hello, Officer Monroe. Hello, Miss Carter. You run well. Officer Tiara moved her hand into view, empty. Silas, people could get hurt. Talk to me. Silas tilted his head. People get hurt every night on these streets, officer. No camera. No sirens. No mayor at the mic. They are invisible. Tonight I made hurt visible so it could heal. That's not healing, Nia said. That's harm with a speech on top. Silas's eyes flicked to her. You will write me as a villain. It's easier that way. Micah stepped closer to the phone. Brother, he said gentle. You don't need this to be seen. You're seen. God sees you. I see you. Silas did not blink. God watched me get turned away from work. God watched me shiver in a stairwell. God watched a city step over me so fast they forgot my shoe size. Seeing is not the same as helping. Then help with me, Micah said. You can still stop this. We turned 3 boxes. You can tell us the last one. Silas laughed, one soft broken sound. There are 7, prophet. 7 boxes for 7 waves. You found 3. You slowed the tide. but you cannot hold the ocean. And at 8:08, the children will learn what the city taught me, that attention costs. Nia's hands shook. Silas, please? His face went flat. You have 50 minutes? Choose. Chase me and fail, or guard the arena and still fail. The last box is not a box. It is a door. And it opens only when a person you love cannot follow. The feed went black. Officer Tiara swallowed. He's watching us. Kian, the guard, lifted a set of keys. The maintenance cage shows a panel missing, like someone took something. We have footmarks to the back stair. Officer Tiara nodded. We move. Kian locked the front. Call the mayor. Tell him to flood the arena with lights and clear the ice. No bags, no boxes, no vans near the door. Now. Kian ran. Nia looked at Micah. 7 boxes. We have 3. 4 left. And a door that isn't a door. Micah's voice was calm. The riddle said, the lock you fear is not the door you see. The last door is a person. A choice. Officer Tiara's phone buzzed. A photo appeared, a picture of Pastor Lyle on the water tower ladder, live zoomed tonight. A second photo followed, Ms. Deja at the playground fence. A third, Amani on the roof. A fourth, Darius by the ship fence. Silas's text, pick one to lose. Nia's throat closed. He's not just watching. He's there. Micah's hands closed around the teacup he still held like a relic. He looked at the 4 photos. He looked at the time. 5:28. He whispered, God, light the right path. They climbed back into the evening. The light was slipping away like a shy child. The city was a mix of brightness and bruise, some blocks lit, some dark, some blinking in between. The air stung. A boy stood by the tape at Ship Creek, eyes wide, a hockey stick in his hand. His coat was too thin. Mister, he said to Micah, my little sister is scared. She says the lights will go out and not come back. Is that true? Micah crouched so their eyes met. What's your name? Jalen Wade, he said. My mom works at City Hall. Micah smiled softly. Your mom just helped keep the lights on. And here's what is true, Jalen. Sometimes the lights do go out. But we do not. We stay. We help. We share. We sing. We hold hands in the dark. And then one by one the lights come back. Always. Jalen nodded, not fully brave but braver. Okay. Micah stood. Nia watched him with a look that was half pain and half pride. Officer Tiara cleared her throat. We split. Nia, you stick to Micah like glue. I'll sweep the tunnel again and call in the drone team. We need eyes on the arena and the high points. Be careful, Nia said. You too, Officer Tiara said. They bumped fists once, quick and human. Micah and Nia moved toward West Ridge. Snow flurried like ash. Their breaths were loud in the quiet. Nia kept pace. Why, 8:08? Micah said, sideways it looks like 2 hourglasses. Time stacked on time. He likes riddles that look like clocks. They reached the playground. Ms. Deja waved them over. No more panels here, she said. We checked every pole and plank. Micah nodded. Good. You and Darius go to the arena. Help clear the kids out. Smile while you do it. Make it a party. Tell them it's a surprise show. Ms. Deja blinked. What show? Micah gave a tiny grin. The one where everyone goes home safe. Best show in town. She squeezed his hand. You got it. They turned toward the library roof. As they passed the corner store, a small package sat on the step. No label. No tape. Just a brown box like a lunch. Nia reached for it. Micah caught her wrist. Do not touch. He crouched and leaned his headlamp close. The light showed tiny dust on the lid. Glitter. Mirror dust. He stood slowly. He wants to steal minutes. If we waste seconds on the wrong worry, we miss the right door. A voice came from the alley. Soft. Almost kind. Right here, Prophet. Silas stepped out. No hood now. He wore a dark jacket and calm eyes. He held no weapon. Only the empty spray can. Nia froze. Silas. He looked at her. You write well, he said. You could have written me before tonight. I didn't know you, she said. You knew me every time you passed the shelter, he said. You just didn't see me. Micah's voice was steady. I saw you. I still do. Come with us. Fix this. Show the city a better puzzle. Mercy? Silas's mouth twitched. Mercy is quiet. Tonight needs noise. He lifted a hand and pointed past them. They turned. A van rolled slow at the end of the block. Its windows were dark. It stopped, then backed away and turned, tires whispering. Officer Tiara's voice cracked in on the radio. Be advised, unknown van circling North Star Arena. We're moving units in. Evacuation started. Silas smiled, small and strange. Run and you'll be late. Stay and you'll be late. That is the shape of my door. Micah took a step toward him. Then I break your door. Silas didn't retreat. He studied Micah like a puzzle piece that didn't fit. How? By not playing your game, Micah said. I don't choose who to lose. I choose who to love. He touched the radio. Pastor Lyle, take your team off the tower. Amani, get down from the roof. Ms. Deja and Darius, out of the playground. Meet the kids at the arena and sing. Loud. Fill the place with joy. Joy breaks fear. Joy scrambles plans. Silas's eyes flickered, the first crack in his calm. You can't sing the grid steady. Micah nodded. But we can steal your time. Nia stepped between them. Silas, if you ever wanted to be heard, hear this. People will remember the night you chose to stop, not the night you chose to harm. You can change the story now. You can be the man who solved tomorrow with us, not against us. For the first time, Silas looked away. His jaw worked. His hands trembled, almost too small to see. Then a drone whined above. Officer Tiara's unit had found one and was herding it down with a net gun. It dropped fast and swung into the telephone line. Sparks spit. The block lights blinked. Silas flinched. They're clumsy, he said. They'll break more than they fix. He took one step back. Another. Then he turned and ran. Nia started after him. Micah caught her sleeve. No. He wants a chase. But. Neighbor over self, Micah said. We go to the arena. They ran. They reached the North Star Arena at 7:22. Music played inside. Someone had switched on a warm-up track like a DJ at a wedding. Kids laughed. Parents called names. Security helped people out with glow sticks like a parade. Ms. Deja stood near the door handing out cocoa packets. Darius waved skaters toward buses with jokes. Pastor Lyle clapped a rhythm. Amani blew a whistle and made the whistle sound like fun. Nia stared. They turned an evacuation into a block party. Micah nodded. Joy is a tool. He walked to the middle of the ice. The rink crew had cleared most skaters. Only a few teens slid to the side. Micah knelt. He pressed his palm to the ice and closed his eyes. What are you doing? Nia whispered. Listening, he said. For a long second, there was only the song and the scrape of blades on rubber. Then Micah's eyes opened. He stood and pointed at a dark square under the boards. There. The crew popped the board. A small cold box sat inside, taped to the rink frame. It had 4 dots like the others, but also a second layer hidden under dull plastic waiting for a lamp. 2 kinds of light, Micah said. He lifted his headlamp. North. Water. Sunday time. He pressed the order. Nothing. He swallowed. Again but slow. He pressed again. On the last dot a green blink came, weak as a blink in sleep. The arena lights steadied. Outside, a handful of blocks that had flickered came back firm. Nia laughed once, sharp with relief. We found one more. Micah nodded, but his eyes climbed the scoreboard. The clock read 7:38. Half an hour, he said. 3 boxes left, scattered like seeds. Nia's phone buzzed. A photo slid into view, live a second ago. Officer Tiara alone at the drain hatch, headlamp bright. Behind her, in the dark of the tunnel, 2 new red points glowed like eyes. A message followed. One more door. Nia's throat went dry. Micah? He was already moving, already praying, already running for the exit. They burst into the cold. The low sky pulsed green with early aurora, thin ribbons rippling like a curtain. The city hummed and staggered and hummed again. At the street, a van door slid open right beside them. Hands grabbed Micah and pulled hard. Nia shouted and grabbed back, fingers on his coat sleeve, nails scraping cloth. For a heartbeat, Micah and Nia were a human chain between safety and shadow. Then the van yanked him inside and the door slammed. Tires bit ice. The van roared into the dark. Nia stumbled, breath a knife in her throat, and chased on foot, phone live, scream stuck behind her teeth. And above the van the aurora brightened, and in the wavering green, letters appeared like a sky-written dare. Midnight. Water rises. The van tore down the frozen road like a bullet through snow. Inside, Micah slammed against the metal wall, wrists tied with zip cords. His headlamp flickered where it had fallen. In the dim green light bleeding through the windows, he saw Silas Pine at the wheel.
Why me?
Micah asked, breath shaking.
Silas didn't look back.
Because you listen, prophet. Because you believe there's always another tomorrow to save. Let's see if you still believe that when the water climbs over the streets. Outside, Nia sprinted after the van, her breath clouds breaking like smoke. Officer Tiara's car screamed around the corner behind her, lights flashing. Micah leaned forward as far as the cords let him. Silas, you don't have to flood the city. Silas's eyes flashed in the mirror. I'm not flooding it. I'm cleansing it. He jerked the wheel. The van skidded off the main road, bumping down a narrow track toward Ship Creek, where ice cracked like dry bones under the weight of the sky. God, Micah whispered, show me the right word. The van hit a patch of ice and spun. The world flipped sideways. Micah's head struck metal, the lights outside blurred, and when they cleared he saw it through the windshield. A huge metal valve half buried in snow, labeled Hydro Lock 7. A gate controlling the river flow.
Silas grinned.
The last door, prophet. Back on the main road, Nia reached Officer Tiara's car and jumped in before it stopped moving. He's got Micah, she gasped. He's headed toward the water station, Ship Creek Hydro. Officer Tiara floored the gas. Hang on. The radio buzzed alive, the mayor's voice again, tense but focused. We've got reports of tampering near the dam control.
Backup's on the way.
Do not engage until... The radio died mid-word. The dashboard lights flickered.
Nia swallowed.
The power's fading again. Tiara kept one hand on the wheel, the other gripping her sidearm. Then we don't wait for backup. They sped through streets lit only by the ghost glow of aurora overhead. Inside the van, Silas parked near the hydro gate. He pulled Micah out and tossed him onto the snow. The prophet's knees hit ice, but he stayed upright. Silas, this isn't the way to be seen, Micah said, voice steady despite the cold. You were meant for light, not for this. Silas picked up a handheld controller, crudely built, wires poking from the side. You said the same when I lost everything.
You prayed. I waited.
But God was silent, so I learned to speak louder. He pressed a button. Somewhere beneath the ice, machinery groaned. The river began to move faster, cracking its frozen crust. Micah's heart pounded. If you open that gate, the whole lower block floods. Families, shelters, children. Silas hesitated for half a breath. Then he said almost gently, maybe the city will finally stop to listen.
Micah looked up at the sky. Then hear this, Lord. I'm still listening.
Officer Tiara's car screeched to a stop near the gate. She and Nia jumped out, weapons ready. The wind burned their faces.
Micah,
Nia shouted. He heard her and turned. Relief flashed across his tired face. Silas spun around. You shouldn't have come, he said. The prophet stays. The city learns. Officer Tiara took a slow step forward. Silas Pine, I don't want to shoot you. Let Micah go. Walk away now. Silas laughed quietly. You think bullets solve puzzles? He pressed another switch. Lights on the control board flared red. Water roared under the ice. Micah felt it, the hum again, stronger, faster, angrier. He's feeding the current from the last boxes, Micah said. Every hum is a door opening. Tiara aimed. Silas, step away. The controller blinked. You can't stop it now, Silas said. Only the one who listens can. Micah's mind raced back to the words. 4 keys. 3 locks. 2 kinds of light. 1 choice. He closed his eyes and prayed, whispering, show me the last key. For a moment, silence. Then, faint as breath, he remembered the boy Jalen saying, my sister scared the lights will never come back. Fear, Micah whispered. Fear was the last lock. He opened his eyes. Silas. Silas hesitated. You think pain speaks loudest, Micah said. But pain is only an echo. Faith shouts from silence. You've been trying to make people listen to your hurt, but God's been asking you to hear his hope. The wind cut through them. The hums began to overlap. 7, 8, 9. Nia stepped closer, eyes wet. Please, Silas. Don't drown your second chance. For the first time, Silas looked unsure. The controller shook in his hand. Then a gust ripped through the air, knocking him sideways. The controller hit the ice and cracked open, sparks spilling into the snow. Micah dove forward, scraping his knees, and slammed both hands onto the control board. He felt warmth beneath his palms, the same kind that had glowed through the chalk marks, the light you choose. North. Water. Sunday time, he said softly. In your order, Lord, not mine. He pressed the 4 levers in rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. A blinding white pulse flashed through the machinery. The hums cut off mid-note. The red lights turned to green. The river slowed. The ice stopped breaking. Silas dropped to his knees, staring. You solved it. Micah shook his head. No. We listened. Hi, the world holds its breath. Nia and Officer Tiara ran to them, slipping over the ice. The sound of sirens grew closer again, crews coming at last. Micah sat back, breathing hard, frost coating his lashes. Silas knelt beside him, shaking. I didn't want to hurt them, Silas whispered. I just wanted them to remember I existed. Micah looked at him, kind and tired. Then remember this instead, you exist because he still has work for you. The world may forget, but heaven never does. Silas covered his face with both hands. Snow fell gently as if forgiving him one flake at a time. Nia took out her phone and recorded, her voice trembling. This is the man who stopped the flood. The street prophet who solved tomorrow. The sirens surrounded them. Crews rushed forward. Officer Tiara holstered her weapon and helped Silas up. Micah watched the sky. The aurora had faded to silver ribbons, like heaven exhaling. For a long moment all was still. Then from far away the city lights flickered once more, this time brighter, steadier, stronger. Hours later the rescue tents stood by Ship Creek. Nia sat on a crate typing her report while sipping coffee that had long gone cold. Officer Tiara spoke with Mayor Rhodes near the bridge ruins. Micah sat wrapped in a blanket, head bowed. Silas sat beside him, cuffed but calm, eyes red. You'll have to answer for this, Tiara said quietly to Silas. But you saved more lives by stopping when you did. Silas nodded slowly. He saved me first. Micah smiled faintly. We just followed the light. The mayor approached. Mr. North, he said, Anchorage owes you everything. The city council wants to. Micah raised a hand. Don't thank me. Thank the one who speaks when we listen. Nia closed her laptop and looked up. So what happens now, Prophet? Micah gazed toward the faint dawn pushing behind the mountains. Tomorrow, he said softly, will still need solving. The prophecy that remains. As dawn came, children from the shelter gathered near the tents. Among them was little Jalen. He ran up and handed Micah a paper. I drew this for you, he said. Micah unfolded it, a stick man under a rainbow standing on ice that didn't break. Above it, in clumsy letters, Jalen had written, Thank you for saving tomorrow. Micah's eyes filled. He looked up at the rising sun, whispering, Maybe tomorrow is already solved when love shows up today. He smiled, slow and quiet. But maybe, he added, there's one more message in the ice. Nia frowned gently. What message? Micah turned toward the river. The surface glittered under the new light. Shapes shifted in the ice, letters forming and fading, something written by no human hand. The light you chose has chosen you. Micah stood, blanket falling to the snow. It's not over, he murmured. It never is. He started walking toward the bridge ruins, the morning wind lifting his coat. Officer Tiara called after him, Where are you going? Micah smiled over his shoulder. To listen. Tomorrow's speaking again. And then he disappeared into the dawn haze, footprints fading into the white, as the first siren of a new day echoed across the river.